Alrighty guys, welcome into Sinister Jace Kingdom, and in this video I just kind of wanted to go over how to draw characters. Like example, if you're gonna draw like a girl or something like that, in my style. So I wanted to show you guys exactly how I do it and how it's done from when I do it compared to the way other artists do it that draw comics out. So I want to show you guys that here now, and we're gonna go over to the other screen here, show you guys. So 1 second. All right, so this is the comic book I'm working on. This is the chapter I'm working on right now. This is chapter 4. I've drawn out like a couple images so far. I like, I'm getting better at drawing this, but I just wanted to show you a tutorial of how I do things. So, example, I'm just gonna show you how to draw a basic girl from my standpoint, and then you'll be able to do it from your own, or from your own for your own way. Sorry. So let's just pull this up. All right. So right now I'm gonna go over to my pen. All right. So I'm dropping this down to like a 3. All right. So we're gonna start with. Hold on 1 second. Okay. We're gonna start with the face or the head. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw. It's like an almond shape, but it's not gonna be a super wide almond shape. It's gonna be more of a thicker version of an almond. Because I don't want to have her like have a really wide face or really long face. And that's pretty much what you get when you go for a longer almond shape is what I want to call it. So okay. So now you got the head complete. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go in and just zoom in on this. All right, so right here we got it zoomed in. From here, I'm just gonna draw the neck. So the neck is this being a girl, I don't think she has a big neck, so we're gonna just draw a really thin, small neck on her, and that's how the neck is drawn. And then I'm gonna draw where the shirt hits. Okay, so this is it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back up here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna draw some shoulders on her, see if I like them, how they're done. But I normally go back and just check things over and over and over a few times. So you don't want to have her shoulders be like a really masculine looking shoulder. You want it to have it like kind of like this, is what I'm saying. So to draw close, we'll go into that detail later, but as you can see, I have a shirt drawn right now. So for now, we are actually, you know what? Looking at this, her head is just way too big for that shirt. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna re-edit the. So yeah, I go over these a few times, and that's why it takes me a little bit to actually release any chapters that come out. So. We are gonna go about this length, I want to say. We'll come back to it a little bit and see how it looks. We really don't want to go out too much. So I'm gonna fix the left side here. You want to kind of come down at a kind of more of a slant, not far out, but like enough to go out a little bit. Sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but all right. So that's what I would do. And now I'm gonna actually draw the start the upper body here. So this is what I would do is we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna make her come out to these curves. Now, if you're drawing any sort of woman, you want her to always have curves. If you don't allow her to have curves, well then she's not obviously a woman. She's something else. I'm not gonna really say here, but that's the answer to that. So that looks really good. And so from there, now we can just kind of go back and do everything and see how I feel about everything in a bit. So this takes a few times for me to get right because I'm still, I don't really measure things out. I go by sense of how it looks and just how I feel about it. So, and in one of the future tutorials, I will show you the angles. So now what I'm doing is I'm drawing her eyes. And you kind of want to have her eyes be kind of big. Because in most anime, when you see a big-eyed girl, she comes off as cute. So the part of me about all the background noise, I'm like literally sitting at the park doing this, and people are just like walking up and trying to get recorded and all that. And it's like it just becomes a bit annoying at times because it's like they're trying to be on something they're not actually supposed to be on. So hopefully that stops soon. But yeah, I have my camera turned off for that reason. So going back to it, her eyes, they're pretty big right now. You want to kind of keep them as like big as possible. Gives her a cuter look. So now we got the eyebrows drawn. We got the eyes drawn. Um, I usually end up going for the nose next. So the nose is just a simple triangular point. And then for the lips, I always want to try to go like this. And the reason you want to do that is because that's the normal basic look for a woman. So now we are going to go ahead and start her hair. So actually, before I go to her hair, we're going to come back and fix this up a little bit, but I want to add these in. These are lines for the cheek, and this is the line for the chin. So we're going to come here and we're going to draw the hair out. So if you're wondering, this is how I'm always drawing my comic book characters. I don't really follow a tutorial. I just do it in my own style. My own style works for me. And a lot of people tend to really like what I'm doing. And I tend to enjoy the way I do it because I have no real rules to follow. So we'll decide once the face is fully drawn, we'll decide then what we're going to do next. In case you haven't realized, this is my Millie Me model from the comic book. If you read my comic book, you know who Millie Me is. She plays a big part in the comic book right now, and she's playing a bigger part in season 2 because I just decided to make her into like a main character. She's actually based on somebody IRL. I'm sure a lot of you guys picked up who that is. But yeah, she's kind of based on a real life person. All right, so now we're gonna come here and we're gonna come here. So you're gonna notice that I want a little bit over the lines with that. And the reason for that is because I want to try to bring this up a little bit more. So we're gonna keep it at a kind of a pointed shape, but we're gonna bring it up a little bit more. And we're gonna make kind of a mess. And it's the point of how I get these like decent looking characters. All right, so I'm gonna go to my eraser now and fix some things up. So we're gonna change the neck up a bit. We might actually redraw the body. So now I want to shrink. So we're gonna go down to size 7. All right. So yeah. All right. And now what we're gonna do is because I'm not sure about all this, we're gonna go and just take a bigger eraser to it and just refix it from here. I thought I was gonna like that, but I did not. We're gonna go ahead and just fix a little bit more. All right, so All right, we're gonna come here. Uh, Her neck is going to come down like that. So now, remember, I said with women, they need like a smaller neck. So that's what I did here. Right, and we're gonna do the same kind of the side. And we're gonna come down here like this. So now we got her face drawn out. I wanna kinda like go in a little bit thicker here. Right, so that's good. Alright. And we're gonna come back with the eraser, clean it up a little bit. And later on, we'll go through and we'll do the shadowing for the character and how everything looks in a moment. All right, so now you see that's actually a really good shape. It's not too curvy, not too thick either. So that's the perfect size. And I'm going to keep drawing, and I'll show you more about the arms and all that. You want to keep the arms as small as possible. All right, that's kind of how you want to just keep the clothing on. The women in these comic books I draw. You want to if you want to add like wrinkles into the clothing, what you would do, and this is just how I do it, is I go and I put like that or just like that. And so I'll do that throughout the clothes. You'll notice that like my clothing isn't exactly the best drawing, but that's literally how you do it. So let's continue on. And so next I'm gonna draw the outline of her boobs. So that's what I'm gonna go for next. You don't want to go in too far on it. You just want to go in enough so it like shows the outline of them. So I'm gonna bring this line back a tad bit and this one back a tad bit. And so from here on out, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put pants on this girl. As you can see, this is my Melly Me design from the comic book. But the pants, I'm gonna draw that next. So that's just gonna be a simple line, and then we're gonna put the V here, and then we're gonna do the outline of the inner leg. So just watch how I do this. And so that's the basic design of how you draw a girl. Now the shoes, we'll do the shoes. Shoes aren't too difficult. They're just basically that. And we'll go down a little bit, and then I'll do one more thing to show you guys how you do side views and stuff like that. So that way you guys know exactly how I do it. And that way, if you're inspired by me in any way, you guys will just, it's basic, easy understanding. All right, so everything here looks good. I would continue to draw. I am gonna fix this shoulder up a little bit because it's a bit far out. Like I said, we don't like to have thick shoulders on women. We like to have a really petite look to women. So, all right. And then again, if you're gonna draw like so here, from here on out, I'm adding a hoodie into her this episode. So to draw the hoodie, you just basically do, a lump there and a lump there, and you swing it around, and you draw like it kind of looks like just flaps, but that's drawing the hoodie. And so this is the basic. This is a more of a thicker version, but that's basically how I draw that character. Now, if you're gonna draw a side face on a girl, you're gonna obviously go something like this. Hold on a second. We're gonna do some shading here before we move on to this. So hold on. Let's do the shading and the thickness of everything so we can fill in and make her look a lot better. All right, so now that I've fixed the eyes up a little bit, I'm gonna do one more thing to the eyes, and this is how it really makes it look like a girl. It's really close to looking like her right now, but when we do this, this is the basic ending of how you actually make them really look like a girl. So you give them the eyelashes. Eyelashes are key to how most faces look on male to female characters. Always with female characters, you want to put eyelashes on them. You don't want to like not let them have eyelashes. You kind of want to have them be thick around the eyes too, as a form of eyeliner. So like, let's example, like you know how you see a wo woman actually wearing a makeup when you're out or something like that. It gives the appearance of kind of like makeup. All right, so as you can see, I'm gonna touch up her eyes, and then I'm gonna go in and do some shading after I darken some things up. So hold on. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, since I darkened a lot of it up, is I just want to show you guys how to do shading, how I do shading at least, and you're gonna see what really makes the characters I do just look pretty good in general. So like example, we want to put shade where her hair is, which is like right along the edge here. So I'm gonna tone this down a little bit because if you put it too big, it's gonna like really look weird. So as you can see here, this is how I do shading for like anything. I use a lot of this for like a lot of the different, like when it comes to the anti-light, I do his shading this way too, where I mix the red and the black together. And then you come down to the neck, and you always, for me, I like to do it in kind of this M shape. And then you drag it down, and you're gonna have more of a shading to it. And then when it comes down to like the hoodie, stuff like that, you're gonna have the shading right underneath this here, and it's gonna look kind of like this. And that's how you do your basic shading to the characters. For me, in this program, I like doing this way. It genuinely makes the object really pop, and it just, like, if you zoom it back, like, zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see how good the character looks. Hold on, let me get it. Okay, that's pretty decent right there. Now, if I was to go darker down here, you would see what I mean. But this is just my basic style in my design. I'll have to wait till next time to show you guys the side face. But a real quick example of doing the side face, I'll do it right here. So let me show you guys. It all starts with me like drawing this curve and then going down like that. And then you just kind of want to go at an angle and then come back like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to come over like this and down. And this is the first time I actually did this one like real easily. But you come back and it's just like that. Of course, we're gonna bring the hair back a little bit further and then come down. And you're gonna see the facial feet. I'm gonna fill in the facial features, and that's just how you do like a side face. And then there's one more side face I can do, and that one's a little bit harder, and I do have trouble with that one still, but I can show you that one quick too. So hold on, we'll show you. I'll finish out this one, show you guys, and then we'll go into like the moon, the side I like to call is the moon. So there's a quick example. I'm not gonna do it like my bests, but that's how you do from kind of the side. Like if they're like kind of side staring you. Now, this is the hardest one in my opinion to do when it comes to drawing the actual side face. So this is the one I've trouble with the most, so bear with me on this, but I can show you how this one is done too. So the complete side view of a face. Like if you're looking at somebody from like the very side, you then know what I mean. So let's watch this. All right, and there you go. That's how the side of a face is done. The chin's a little out too far, which I'm gonna fix that real quick. But this just takes a little bit of practice of getting used to. Don't discourage yourself. If your drawing doesn't look good, go ahead and just, go ahead and drop it, and then eventually you'll start to see your drawing increase. It always takes time, but when I started this story, it was not the best looking thing ever, and I've had people make fun of my first work. And as time goes on, you can see now I draw things a little bit differently than what I did originally. And this is how, again, this is the whole like side view of a woman. So if you're interested again, this is how you draw the side view of women characters. And pretty easy stuff. You just gotta like have your own style and just increase with that style along with looking at other ones. And then you learn from everything you've ever seen. So, with that said, let me come back to the big screen here. All right, so there you go. That's how you draw women characters. That's my basic tutorial. I hope you enjoyed that. It does take me a little bit to draw them, but I'm gonna go on to other characters such as my angels, my character in general, no such, and then I'm gonna go into also the female, the female angel, the male angel, the demons, the anti-light, and how I draw those, and just and just what I do when I build those characters. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. I'm gonna come back with more tutorials on this because I want you guys to see exactly how I do stuff in the comics. So have a good night, Lady Deathbats and Philly Deathbats, and take it easy and rock on, and God bless.